So, with major news coming out of the Browns area of the media, all pertaining to Deshaun Watson and his suspension, I think it's kind of a major topic of debate, and I think something that I would like to chime in on because I think there's one major question that has arose. And no, I'm not going to be talking about the Deshaun Watson case itself and all of the situations that are going on in the, government side of things and the suspension, all that stuff. I'm not going to comment on that. I do want to look at the Browns and, what is going to occur with Deshaun Watson not being able to play for them through the first, 11 games here. And does the Deshaun Watson suspension cause a great worry for the Browns' chances to make the playoffs? Now, with that being said, if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to reach subscribers before the end of the year, and I cannot do that without your guys' help. But let's not waste any more of your time. Let's jump right into this. Does the Deshaun Watson suspension kill the Browns' chances of making the playoffs? Well, although that is a very heavy question to be asked, not only for all the sad things that are occurring behind the scenes, but the Browns took a major risk in trading for Deshaun Watson, and they moved on from a quarterback that got them out of the slumps in Baker Mayfield. So Deshaun Watson has been upgraded, if you would like to call it that, to an 11-game suspension, as well as a $5 million fee. And although the $5 million fee means nothing to him because all the money that he just made with his huge contract, I think the 11 games do cause a great worry, at least for Browns fans. Although some people think that this was the wrong amount, whether more or less, that's not exactly what I'm here to talk about. As mentioned before, we're going to be talking about the games. So, first things first, what are the Browns losing in Deshaun Watson? Well, the last full season that he played was in 2020 and the 2021 season. So we're going to take a look at those stats. So stats from that year, he had 4,823 passing yards, which was first in the entire league. He had 33 touchdowns passing, which was 7th. He had 7 interceptions, which was 20th. He had a 70% completion, which was 3rd. And he had 49 sacks against him, which was 2nd. All of those stats, which are extremely well, but he was also a top 5 finalist for the MVP. All of those great stats, and that only happened about 2 years ago before he missed the entirety of last season and is going to miss 11 games here. So the Browns are missing out on a huge impact player, and I think a lot of us forgot how great Deshaun Watson was when he was on the field. And he did all those stats with the Texans team that was truly not great. I mean, although they did make playoffs and although they did have guys like, DeAndre Hopkins and J.J. Watt, the team overall was not very good. Now, how will the Browns do without Watson? Without Watson, the Browns will likely go to guys like Jacoby Brissett or Josh Rosen at the QB position. Although they aren't great choices, they can still salvage some games. Even without a great starting quarterback, the Browns have a very good roster, even great roster if you truly look at it on paper. As we all know, paper doesn't mean everything, but they do have a very good roster, and that can keep them in games. The Browns have one of the best defenses in the entire league, led by guys like Myles Garrett. And the offense also has plenty of star power. Although they moved on from OBJ and Jarvis Landry, they still do have Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, likely are going to re-sign Kareem Hunt, and plenty of other options here. Now, with that being said, it all comes down to the schedule of games ahead of them and what that means for the roster. So we are going to go through every single game this year before Deshaun Watson return and after, and talk about what their chances are of making the playoffs and who I think will win each game. So the first game for the Browns, funnily enough, is against the Panthers and their former quarterback Baker Mayfield, who has now been listed as the starter in week 1. So I'm not going to, be too nice about these things. I'm going to be brutally honest, at least with my opinion. As we all know, opinions don't really mean much when it comes time to actually play. But this game could very well go either way. Truly, I think the Browns defense is extremely capable, and I think they have enough weapons on offense to go out and win this game. But with the Panthers having a great defense as well, and the Browns maybe not being at full form, not having Deshaun Watson out there, I think Baker will take home this revenge win for him, and the Browns will start out 0-1. Not only that, but the Browns have the worst Week 1 win percentage in the entire league, and that is a true stat. They have the worst win percentage in Week 1. So I have the Panthers winning this game. Now, in Week 2, the Browns take on the Jets, and this one should be an easy one, have this being a win without a starting capable quarterback for the Jets after an injury to Zach Wilson. And the Browns have a top defense. This one should be an easy one. Browns are now 1-1. Week 3 against the Steelers. Steelers are in a similar spot in the QB position. They don't really know who's going to be the starter, but the Steelers also have a very good defense as well as a very capable offense. I think the Steelers can steal this one, with most Browns games and Steelers games being very competitive. I don't think it's going to be a big blowout, but I think the Steelers can take this one home. Week 4 against the Falcons, I have the Browns winning. With how strong the Browns defense is and, a pretty weak Falcons offense with Marcus Mariota and Kyle Pitts being about it, I expect the Browns to win. So the Browns are 2-2. Now, Week 5 versus the Chargers. If you don't know, I am a Chargers fan. There will be some bias, but the fact of the matter is Chargers have an extremely potent offense, a much improved defense. Everyone should hopefully be back with injuries to J.C. Jackson. Will likely be back by this point. And the Browns not having an incredible O-line, I think that the Chargers will win this game. There might be some bias there, but the fact of the matter is, with or without Deshaun Watson, I think the Chargers could very easily win this. Without Deshaun Watson, I think it is definitely going to go in favor of the Chargers. Chargers won last year with a worse defense and a Browns offense that was firing on all cylinders, and the Chargers still won in a massive shootout. So I have the Browns losing that. Week 6 against the Patriots. Although the Patriots lost a lot of their top performers on the defense and don't have any crazy talent on the offense, I'm unsure on, Brissett or Rosen and if they can keep him in the game, especially with Bill Belichick being at the helm of the Patriots at the coaching position. I think the Patriots win this one. And the Browns are kind of down, and it's not looking great for them. Now being, 2-4. Week 7 against the Ravens. The Browns have surprised us before at times, and that all comes in part to them being able to withhold Lamar Jackson and the really potent offense that the Ravens do have, and I think the defense can do it again. They showed an ability to slow down Lamar, and they've shown an ability to score on the Ravens defense. I do have the Browns winning this one. Week 8 against the Bengals, I do have it being a loss. After a tough game against the Ravens, the Browns can't slow down another top offense. Week 10, they go against the Dolphins, and after coming off a bye week in Week 9, I think the Browns come back ready, and they do end up winning this. So right now, they're still just below 500, and they got some tough games ahead. Week 11 against the Bills, the Bills currently have the highest odds to win the Super Bowl, and I expect them to be starting to get hot at around this time of the year. I have the Browns losing this. And Week 12 against the Bucs, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers will be too much of a great offense and defense for the Browns. I think the Bucs win this. With the Browns currently sitting at 4-7, with an ability to go 6-5, truly I think they can sneak out a couple wins and some of these surprises. The return of Deshaun Watson will be a pivotal piece in their chance to make the playoffs. Week 13 is the return of Deshaun Watson. Let it be known, surprise, surprise, it is against the Texans. And whether that's, a planned suspension thing so that you can get him going against his ex-team to get more views, I'm not sure. I'm not here to talk about that. But although Watson will likely be rusty, the Texans don't have enough firepower to hold up, and the Browns have a great defense. They win their first game with Deshaun Watson back at the helm. Week 14 against the Bengals, after losing earlier in the year, Watson gets a win in his first week, and he's starting to kind of feel it, and he's like, oh, I'm ready for this. And I think the Browns are going to be buzzing, and they beat the Bengals. Being 2-0 with Deshaun Watson, they go against the Ravens, and after beating the Ravens without Deshaun Watson, they end up losing. The Ravens won't lose both games. I have a good feeling about that, and they'll open the playbook a little bit more to take them on, and Ravens end up winning this one. Week 16 versus the Saints. With the top defense, the Browns hold out Winston and the Saints. Got to win there. Week 17 against the Washington Commanders. Although Chase Young can do a lot for that team, and their defense looked very, very good last year. For the first time since week 4, the Browns will be 500 and they will win this game. In week 18 against the Steelers, they will get the revenge to end out the season. The Browns push through to a positive record. With all being said, I project an opinion, like always, and if you are against that, that's probably fine. I project the Browns to finish with a 9-8 record, in part to Watson's rejoining this team late in the season, only losing one game after the return of Deshaun Watson. Now, depending on how early season goes, I could see the Browns jumping to an 11-6 record, which would put them right in the spot of wild card or in spot 1, depending on how the Bengals, Ravens, and the rest of that tough division does play. Now, Watson's suspension definitely crippled the Browns immensely, but with a top defense and a very capable offense, the team can still be in a great spot to be in the playoffs, as long as Brissett, who I expect to be the starter, can be a solid game manager and prevent some turnovers. This team can be carried by their defense into the postseason. That is it. I have the Browns going 9-8, barely missing the playoffs, or 11-6 and making the playoffs. And although that's not a huge gap, the fact of the matter is I expect the Browns to be positive with or without Deshaun Watson. I think his return will be a huge point, and if he can come back ready to go, I think they only lose one game with Deshaun Watson playing at the quarterback position. But what are your guys' thoughts? I don't really want to hear about if he should have got more or less. I'm talking about how do you think the Browns will do before and after Deshaun Watson's return? If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. And as always, please subscribe as well. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I cannot do that without your guys' help. And as always, I hope you taught something today. Hope it made you smile. Hope it made you laugh. That's something that's really important to me. Affect someone else today in a great way, because every single day can be a great day if we all just put in the effort. And as always, you guys all be safe out there.
But something deep inside won't let me